Whiskey Tango Charlie on our post-COVID, Charles. I think we're kind of out of this thing. I think people finally found the bourbon shelf. What do you think?
Yeah, hope so. Yeah, hope so. We don't know. You hear this and lots of things go in the right direction, and then I flick on the news last night, and now there's talking about variants and
oh Lord,
round 2 and round 3, and all hell could break loose again in this fall. And I'm like, God, here we go again. So I don't know. Hey, look.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on the waitress to bring my second shot. You know what I'm talking about? I love it. Whiskey Tango Charlie. We hear out in the bourbon world all the time where celebrities are starting to get into the bourbon world. And today, we'd like to bring you the 1970 first round draft pick of the NFL, Terry Bradshaw. Stay tuned.
So, dude,
1970. So you know how old he is. He's older than you. That's hard to believe.
Whoa. I can see how this is going to go tonight. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, he's got a reality TV show, and his hair's not even white, dude.
Look, I'm like I did. I know you did, even though you're a young man. I grew up watching him play ball, right?
Okay.
The dude, Super Bowl champion, not once, not twice, not 3 times, 4 times. So he's in a rare air, right?
So I grew up watching Duck Dynasty, and Phil Robertson, who actually played at Louisiana Tech, first string, while Terry Bradshaw rode the bench.
I do know that.
Right.
I've watched that show too. Yeah, you're correct.
So just imagine, right?
Just imagine. And he went off to shoot squirrels and hunt and do what they do.
And make duck calls.
Yeah, making duck calls. But hey, listen, I saw this. I've seen these bottles around a bit. I've seen them online. I haven't really seen in person. Troy and I, we stopped down our local establishment a little bit ago, and I saw this sitting on the shelf, and I was like, hey, there's the Bradshaw stuff. I mean, you know what? I'm going to give this a whirl. I haven't tried it. I know there's some reviews and stuff out there, and, I thought, well, what the heck? It's give us a whirl. And so a little background on this one, this is a whopping at least 2 years old, Troy. Now, hold on now. You just think.
Two
at
years.
least 2 years old, So 103.8 is this one. This is this one I just kind of noticed. This is from batch 002. So there was a batch 1 that we missed out on that. So
so this is the second go around of it.
It's a second batch. So they must have done pretty well if they sold through a batch and bottled a new one. But anyway,
let's break it open.
I thought it'd be worthy of let's give it a whirl here, right? And
so this is a Tennessee distillery with a DSP Kentucky number 10. Is that
what?
So what is it? So this is Kentucky DSP 10.
KY10.
Right. So they haven't moved from one state to another. They've moved around a lot, though, the way I understand it.
No, they've been in they've been same place for 130 years. This distillery, I don't remember exactly the year. I think it was prior to Prohibition, burnt to the ground. This distillery burnt to the ground.
1918, burnt to the ground. Yep. Okay, now I know this is the
Green River. And it was the family owned. It was another deal back in the day.
This says Ron Call is doing the advisory distilling. So Booker Knoll raised him at Jim Beam, and now his son is the head distiller. Is that what I understand?
Right. Son took over.
Yep.
operations up there. So both of them being mentored under the Booker No, and the son went off and did another one at a Florida distillery. He'd spent some time down there before coming back to Kentucky. But
I think the actual controversial thing was, I think the son went off. His name is, God, it moves me. He went off to college and became an accountant, and I think he busted into the bourbon world in the financial part, while his dad was an icon at Jim Beam and worked under Booker Noel for a number of years. So he's being mentored by the right people.
I love, just as a really nice little nose on it. Nothing really spectacular, nothing, no boldness. Just it's really got some softness to it. Sweetness, I get a sweet onto the nose area. And I'll tell you, Troy, I'm on the very back end of for the last 2 or 3 weeks sinus infection and all that, and so. But I'm so thankful to be able to have my smell back. In fact, I don't know. I could have been.
You don't have any COVID, do you?
You know what? I could have at some point of this, but I had a sinus infection, and so. But anyway, the smell is back. Almost back.
So the sweetness is the corn.
The corn.
So we've got the mash build is like a 70% corn, 21% rye, and a 9% malted barley. So the corn. So isn't this distillery the same one that does mellow corn?
Well, there was a host of through the years. This distillery, Green River Distilling, there was a host of.
Right, a lot. Ezra Brooks. Yes.
So, some of them, some of these things have moved on the labels, and they got bought out, and it kind of moved out onto something else. But
so I shocked the palate there.
I got a sip. I needed a sip to go with the nosing.
Yeah, to get rid of the COVID.
Yeah. And it put a tickle in my throat. That's kind of weird.
So I picked up a lot of the corn right away. No rye in the smell. No oak. I'm not getting any. I'm not getting the sweetness that you are.
I just like this. Could be probably more than likely. Just knowing that it's a 2-year deal. At least 2 years is so. I don't I hate to use the word new oak, but you kind of get some of that fresh wood, almost kind of on the nosing part. Yeah, I don't know that it's green oak, but no, it's not a deep, rich earthiness to it.
So. What drew you to pick this up off the shelf?
To be honest, look, it's the name, right? I'd read some stuff early about the early release. Picked up some stuff. You see a lot of stuff out there, and people had really talked highly of it. That hey, it's kind of nice. It's something that's really worthy of being. I don't know if it's. To be honest, I'm not sure that I'm going to say it's worthy of Super Bowl status worthiness, because it's still young. Hopefully the plans are to let this thing age a bit more, but you do get the likeness of the corn. You get some corn-like there, and then you almost get a little bit of, I want to say, go back in here, almost a little bit of, you almost a baked bread hints in that, and make that. But I don't really get anything that's excess. And And the first little sip there, shocking the palate, 108. I just didn't get. I wanted to say, something of this young, this young type of thing. You're going to put a drop in already? Wow, dude, that's pretty amazing.
I'm going to put 3 drops in.
Okay.
And I'm going to do that out of respect to Mr. Bradshaw, because I got to believe that he at least helped with the profile of this. But wow. So 3 drops totally changed the nose.
When you think about...
Charles, smell that.
It really got... Is that a cedary?
Yes.
Kind of cedary note? A cedar.
It is totally different.
It sure did. It's almost like a cedar.
So 3 drops, if you can imagine that.
This when you think about the mash bill on this, 70% of a corn, and you got that. But this is what I would, this could be considered a high rye. Mash bill is 21% in the rye, but I don't really get the rye spiciness. It's sort of, it's light.
Mm-hmm.
Could be the age still that's talking there.
So I think what it is, Charles, so I put these 3 drops in. So totally changed the nose, went to more of a citrusy type of, almost a pine citrus smell. But I'm going to tell you, right across the middle of the palate, Charles, you definitely got to try this.
So adding a couple of drops.
I added 3.
3 drops of that.
So sometimes we have to add ice. Sometimes we have to add water. It actually will enhance or may kill the taste of it. And we've got to try that. And that's part of what we're doing here. I'm going to say this with 1 ice cube, Charles.
Real.
Change the whole profile.
All right, I'm
It's
gonna go
all the way across the center of my palate,
I just
a
want
little bit on the sides. Took away the hug.
Even just with 1 drop, the nose is dramatically changed.
Yeah.
And
So we hear that a lot. A lot of the clubs that are out there, a lot of people are really going towards these cast strength type bourbons, and I'm not against them. Don't get me wrong, but not always do you get something directly out of the barrel that is it's going to be pleasing to your palate. As we all know, everyone's palate's a little bit different.
everybody's different.
Yeah.
Everybody's different.
So what'd that do for you?
No, you know what? I actually enjoyed that. I believe that really, to me, opened that up a bit. I just put the 1 drop in, but it opens it up. Look, I'm not going to say I wouldn't pour this out. I mean, I don't know that I've ever hit a bottle that maybe I don't really enjoy as much as this is not something I would pour out.
It's not your palate.
I don't know that it's not overwhelming. The other thing was I looked at the thing and the price point was the $40 range.
Yep.
So I was like, you know what? And I'm going to give this a whirl. So is this something just knock it out of the park? No. It to me is probably it's worthy of the $40. It might be, who knows, depending on where you are in the country. It probably is really more of a $35 bottle, to be quite honest. But you know what? I think, to me, this is one that where's my Yeti? Where's the Yeti? Big full thing of Yeti. Pour me go sit
and
by
maybe
the pool.
some ginger ale, right?
And
we don't have any
whatever,
ginger ale. But
throw something. But even from a sipping standpoint, it's not offensive. It's nothing it's nothing there that's going to just overwhelm your palate. Say, wow, complexity and all. But it is a good sipper. I mean, it just kind of sits there with the palate, and it's a gentle. It has gentleness to it. So
yeah. So I haven't really read any reviews on it. I can imagine they're all over the board. Everyone has a different palate. I'm gonna, give this a pretty low grade, probably a 92, if I was gonna grade it.
92 out of
Out of 100.
That's.
It came to the front for me in the rye. So the rye that is in the mash build, once I put the 3 drops of water in it, it really came to the front.
Opens it up.
And it was more pleasing to my palate. I would buy this a second time, but I'd be really interested in what comes up on batch number 3. And I would really like to try batch number 1 just to give it a shot.
It's going to be it's going to be interesting if there's this whole progression. And I haven't really studied what the marketing or what the plans are for the thing. Is this to their laid down juice to, are they going to gradually increase the ages, as they get down the road a bit? So next year is a little bit old, more maturity. And so we'll see. Look, Terry, if you want to come on show and sit down and let's have a pour, we'd love to heck have you, man, dude. This is good, man.
So, like Terry Bradshaw, we're all outstanding in a field. Some of us are outstanding in a cornfield, but
outstanding in a cornfield.
But at the end of the day, not everybody's palate is the same, and we hope that if you get to try this juice, you feel the same. So, Whiskey Tango Charlie, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. And
just
Charles,
all over, we're everywhere. And the exciting thing is we're getting back into live tasting events here in the local markets, and it just really loving that aspect. So,
and we've got a lot of merch available out there on Etsy, also on our webpage. So follow us, and cheers.
Cheers, my friend. Nice job there, Mr. Bradshaw. Thank you.